Hi, this is George Sefton, and you're listening to the official ARW.
Hello and welcome to ARW Weekly. Joined here tonight by Randall from LFC Philly. Even welcome on board, mate. Good to have you on.
Yeah, good.
How's
Good to be with you.
How's all with you guys over there?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Just trugging along towards the holiday season. So
Very good. Like us all. It may be holiday season, as you said, but it's the ever busy Christmas even. My words are all over the place this evening. Christmas fixture, that fixture bombshell, and games coming literally on top of each other. And the Reds are back in action tomorrow night again, where we travel down to London and we take on Arsenal, which should be always a very exciting game. Gonna have a little chat about that. We'll just preview the game. We'll see what we expect. Going to go through the team selection and then a couple other bits and pieces, and we'll try and include the Christmas spirit in the end. But just in terms of the match itself, obviously we smashed them in the home fixture there at the start of the season, which was wonderful and was a joy to watch. And we had a great result last season down at the Emirates. We won 4-3 on the first day of the season, which kind of set us in great spirits for the next 6 months or so. Played some absolutely amazing football. I think it was kind of Manny Medi's introduction to the club. Klopp, or him jumping on Klopp's back is just one of those standout moments of the whole season, really. But the game itself, Friday night, what do you expect? We've kind of steadied the ship a little bit. You know, the fixtures results have gone a little better. Are you confident going into the game?
yeah, I would be pretty confident if I was the Reds right now. If you look, like you kind of mentioned, the history in the last handful of fixtures, it's been in our favor. So we have some confidence, I think, going into it. And the one player that's coming out of the last game against Bournemouth that I have my eye on this week, and I think he's had this one circled, is Oxlade-Chamberlain. It's going back not only against Arsenal but down at the Emirates. So it's going to be a big game for him. And coming off of the very solid, workman's like midfielder, that's how I enjoyed that. That's the type of player that can get into this side, is a player like that. And he showed it against Bournemouth. So let's see if he can back it up against his old squad. So I'm interested to see what he does in this one on Friday.
Oh yeah, talk about something that could potentially be written in the stars. Ox to come on, score the winner. I think we'll all go into our Christmas with big, huge smiles on our faces. Wouldn't that just be wonderful? Particularly, I was listening to some of the guys from Arsenal Fan TV earlier, and they were saying they fully expect Ox to get a lot of shit off the home fans. So it'd be the perfect way to answer them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. How are I know they're not gonna cheer him, but I was just wondering how that stadium is even. Are they even up to the caliber of really giving him a go, or does he just kind of go on and play his game?
I think he's going to get rinsed.
That's just.
I really do.
I always like to see that. Being not being in those types of environments. Too much of my life. Obviously, it's more the American type of sports game, but just wondering what type of go they'll give him. So, it's interesting. Some players play their best in that type of environment. So, it should be interesting to see how he, if I'll save it for later, but I think he's going to have a good amount of minutes to show. And obviously in this game, I think he's a lock to be in the starting 11.
Yeah, I think to answer your question about what sort of reception he's going to get, I think it's not going to be pretty. And Klopp hasn't helped the situation by some of the comments that he's made. He's pretty much said he needed to come to Liverpool to further his career and develop his career. And even Chamberlain himself, he just can't help himself. He's spoken so many times about his love for Klopp and how things are different, and he has to learn a different style of football, etc., etc.
The thing is he's been in from a social media presence here lately. He jumped in with the reporter at the weekend in front of when they were questioning Coutinho about leaving. He jumped in there. That was all over social media here in the States. And then even with another video of him, Firmino, and Coutinho going to the school and the kid was given. That's a funny little. I was going to mention that later. That's a funny little bit that they had. So he's just been involved there. Chamberlain. So they're definitely using him on and off the pitch to be a Liverpool player for sure.
Yeah, he's completely settled into life at Liverpool, and he looks completely at home. As you said, both on and off the pitch. I love that bit of putting the arm across Phil's shoulder. Like, it was pretty unfair.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, it was pretty unfair. I thought it was pretty shit of the reporter that, like, he knows it's Coutinho's not his natural language. Even if it was his natural language, it would have been a difficult position to put someone in. It was a shit arse question to ask him, and the way he's approaching his tone, etc. So I love that. The way he just stood up for his teammates, and it's a discussion for another day. But like he showed leadership qualities that I'm going overboard here a little, but that's potential a Liverpool captain in the next couple of years if he remains.
Oh, that's the type of that's the type of things a captain does for in that situation. That was huge, and I mean that's for me that just shows like the type of team that that we talk about. The boys in the room type of thing back here in America. But like, I feel like the Reds are becoming more and more of a, cohesive team right now, on these run of games. So I think it's a good thing we can keep it going here.
Yeah, absolutely. And that little video that you spoke about of the kids, the players visited the kids in school was hilarious. For anyone that hasn't watched it yet, we'll share it out from the account later on. I'll take a note here to do it now before I forget. But it's very, very funny. There's like kids set with their back to the players, back to the door of the room, and they're talking about, oh, do you like Coutinho? Do you like Firmino? Yeah. And they go to one little kid, do you like Chamberlain? And next to the Chamberlain's behind, I say, what's wrong with me? The kids at Arsenal used to love me. It's tongue in cheek. It's
classic because then the kid says why. They ask him why you don't. Ox asks him why he doesn't like him, and he just says you don't get into the first team here or something. So this might be filmed a week or so ago, but yeah, it's fun. It's a good one.
Perhaps, and as he said, it's pretty much setting them up. If you can take the shit off the kid, he'll take the shit off the Arsenal fans.
Exactly.
Tomorrow night, but the game itself, I have to say, and I'm almost regretting and kind of, even when I'm saying these words, I'm trying to be cautious, but I can't. I'm just letting myself go completely. I'm hugely optimistic about this game. I think we're going to have too much firepower for Arsenal, and I can't see anything bar a Liverpool win and a lot of Liverpool goals. Are you going to try and put some strainers on me and put some weights on me and try and bring me back down to earth a bit? But that's genuinely how I'm feeling at the moment. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I try to look at some reasons why that potentially might not happen. There could be a letdown game, and I always come back to when in this game. It's not. I just feel like it's not going to be a letdown. It could turn out to be a close game, but I feel like with our front four, and everybody's going to be intact for this game. For his team selection, and I just don't see how. Even with some breakdowns at the back, which is what could cause for it to not work out in our favor. But I just think we're going to score goals. So I don't see. We'll come to predictions later, but I just feel like if we play our game, it's a win for the Reds.
Yeah, I know it's a cliche, but I really think the midfield battle on this is going to be so crucial to the way the game unfolds, because you look at it and you line up the two teams or the two potential teams against each other, and the big weaknesses on both sides is the defence. So I think which makes that midfield battle even more crucial. Like you look at the way Klopp approached the home leg of this, or the home game of this in Anfield there at the start of the season. He went for a very tidy, compact midfield, with a view of getting the grip on the game and then letting the attacking players do the damage. And you look at some of the goals are kind of scored on the breakaway. The Mane one is a breakaway move. The Salah goal is a breakaway move. Where maybe we sit in a bit and then we hit them on the break, because we have the potential to do that. And even like Mane didn't start midweek, who knows if he's going to start tomorrow night or not, but there's going to be attacking power there. Even without him on the team, there's bucket loads of pace on that, and there's bucket loads of options to hit on the break. So I just see him being a little bit more cautious, and I think he'll probably go with two sitters. I think I Look, we'll come into it now and we'll pick our teams, but I think see him going for a compact midfield with a view of getting a grip on the game and then letting the guys up top just break away. I don't see him going too crazy because I think that's what Arsenal will want us to do. Do you what sort of approach do you think Klopp is going to go with? Because sorry, go on, mate.
I don't know. I mean, I just feel as though I try to think, back on these situations. It's away at Arsenal. How has he? I just don't remember him ever really sitting back. And with that, so I just feel as though, and we don't have the defense in my opinion to ever really sit back anyway. So I just feel like he's gonna. They took out it was Coutinho at the 75th minute, and then even Firmino was out. Or we can correct me if I'm wrong. In that Bournemouth game, there were two out of the 4 that were taken out in a early 15-minute thing. So I just feel like they're ready. And back to this is a conversation for a previous pod, but his substitutions and his starting 11 has come into question in the last couple weeks. In the derby when he rested some players, and I think he's got to go for it. I think he's got to, for who's healthy, don't overthink the team sheet tomorrow. And that's all I think with it. And then go for, and then play play their game. And I think that's hopefully what happens.
Okay, well, we've kind of skimmed the surface there with the team and what we expect. Let's give a bash at it. We'll try, and between the two of us, we'll try. And it's a very difficult thing to do at the moment. The way Klopp is, like, his most changes
it is
69 changes, I think, or something along those lines. And I regularly do it. I'll tweet it out later. My pre-match prediction.
Is Matip? Is he available or not? Not yet, right?
Questionable. I think it'll be a step too far for him. Maybe Swansea.
Okay.
But as I said, I regularly try and predict the team the night before every game. I'll do it again later on. I will tweet it out. But for now, I'm going to get your help. It's a difficult thing.
And Swansea. When is that game?
That's on Boxing Day. So that's on.
Okay. So it's okay. The 26th.
It's the 26th, yeah. So the games are coming thick and fast because then we've Leicester on 30 and Burnley on the 1st. So there will be a lot of changes. But what would you say is of the game?
I'd say Robbo, he's in there.
Okay, let's start. Goal, it'll be. Do you want to do the honours?
Then Mignolet, Simon.
He's going to be a goal. There's no doubt about that. Right back for me is Gomez.
Yeah. Okay.
You agree there, or would you go Trent?
I think that's. I think Gomez is in there. This. Yeah. I think that's a good.
I think he'll just go for a bit more structure and a bit more defensive. Trent will probably play maybe Swansea or Leicester. And then for me, the two centre halves pick themselves really given the current environment. For me, it's Lovren and Clavin.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. I mean, I haven't even thought about that. If Matip's not back, then it is what it is. That's what we're riding with. So we'll see how it.
The last member of the back four, left back, who are you going with?
Yeah, I mentioned it. I'm Robertson. I think he's his. And then I might as well go right up to it. I'm having Coutinho in the left side in the midfield.
Okay, are you going to 3 or 4?
Because I like that
in midfield. Because this is where it gets interesting. The back four and keeper pick themselves.
I think I'm still going 3.
Okay,
but I like the combination of Coutinho and Robertson down. That's where it's tricky with what he has right now, because in my eyes, I think that combination of how, and it's crazy to say it, but they were playing really well, them two, in that last game, Robertson and Coutinho linking up on that left-hand side. So I would like to try to get that in combination with, then Coutinho and Firmino work extremely well together. And, they know where they're they know where each other's at when they're not even looking. So I love, we got to capitalize on that. That's what I saw in that Bournemouth game. I feel like we just if they're healthy, Firmino and Coutinho need to be on the field together at all times, just because in a meaningful game. I just think they link up so well.
Yeah, it's funny that you touched on the little bit of partnerships and the little bit of movement that's kind of starting to be generated in our team, because particularly the first one that you mentioned there with Robbo and Coutinho, because that wasn't always the case. When we played Burnley back early in the season, it was Robbo's first game for the club, and Phil wouldn't pass the ball if he's
I remember that now. I forgot you said that.
Yeah, if his money, all the money in the world depended on it, and I'm not sure was that him, because Moreno was still fit at the time. I'm not sure was that like, you're not getting my buddy Moreno taking his position. I'm not going to pass the ball to you. But yeah, definitely against Bournemouth, they had some very good. A bit of link-up play, and even Coutinho's wonder goal was a nice bit of link-up play earlier in the move between Robbo and Coutinho, and then Robbo kind of pulled a couple of defenders out of the way with the run down the wing, and after that it's a piece of absolute magic from Coutinho that we've all come to appreciate and to love. But the midfield battle for me, this is where I'm genuinely stumped. I'm not sure what way he would go. Part of me is thinking that he's going to go solid and compact, and he's probably going to play both Chan and Hendo to get a grip in midfield, because if you get a grip in midfield with this game, you're probably going to win the game given the state of both defenses. But what I'll tell you first, the way I'll answer this first is I'll give the midfield I would like, and then I'll give the midfield that I think he will play. What I would like a three of Chan, Chamberlain, Coutinho, because I think that has enough legs, that has enough ball playing skill, that has enough movement to win the game and really, really go for it. But I don't.
Okay, I agree. I just want to chime in there. I agree exactly with that. That was going to be my other two.
Okay.
In my of three there in the midfield. So, and I kind of agree. Go ahead, but I probably agree that's probably not what he will choose.
No, what I think he will go with, I think he's going to go. It's a little bit more cautious. It's a little bit more getting grip on the game, as I said.
I agree.
But I think he's going to go Chan, Hendo, and Gini.
Hendo. Or not really. Wow. And then who? Then okay.
Just to get some legs and get some grip and energy in midfield, I think that's what he's going to go a little bit more cautious. I think I would prefer my first option because it's definitely a lot more enjoyable to watch.
So you have four. You think he's going to go with four in the midfield?
I will go. I think he'll go three. I think he'll go Chan, Hendo, Gini.
Okay, and then up top is
Salah.
You can finish out yours.
I'll finish out mine. Okay, what I would like is the first choice front three. But I think he's going to go Salah, Bobby, and Coutinho.
Okay, with Gini, Chan, and Hendo.
With Gini, Chan, and Hendo.
Okay, so no Ox. You have him coming off the bench.
Ox to come on and score the winner.
That would be that sounds like about right. So I think I'm gonna ride with Coutinho, Chan, and Chamberlain, and then Mane, Bobby Firmino, and the Egyptian
King.
Yes, Mohamed Salah.
Momo.
I love him. He's great.
Who doesn't?
I love when it's like 4-0, 3-0, and he through over the top ball is like long and he can't get to it, and he like jumps up and like he's like he's like, oh man, like he wants it so much. I love that about him too. He shows that's what type of player, not obviously not his ability, but he's engaged. I love that type of type of player.
He's a pleasure to watch, and even as you said, when the game is done, he's still trying to get on. If he hasn't scored, he's trying to do his damage to score. He's chasing.
Yeah, and it's not even him being it doesn't come off of him like rubbing it in or any running up the score. Just how he plays the game is like I said, this could be a pod for conversation for another one, but I love Mohamed Salah is
well, let's hope
he's great.
Let's hope he adds to his 20 goals already. It'd be nice for him to score again.
So what's your prediction now? We can run into that. I think
my prediction is I really think we're going to smash them up. I really think if we can get going, I think we have enough firepower to really, really get at them. And if we can get into their faces and be ultra aggressive on the ball and start on the front and just get that squeeze on again and really, really get at that defence, because Arsenal fear us. If we can score early against this Arsenal team, they're going to, all the bad memories of the batterings we've given them over the years is going to come back at them. And I think we could open up then. I'm going to go with a 4-2 win for Liverpool.
Okay. All right. I think I'm going to go with 4-1. I'm going with what I think could happen.
To Liverpool or Arsenal?
Liverpool.
Oh, good. I was gonna hang up here straight away.
I didn't think of that too heavy yet. Because I just don't see how. That's best case scenario. I think we can come out up flying, and we might have one. Because even against Bournemouth, there were lapses defensively that I just think with our how we're set up is we just go off the counter so much that it's gonna allow for a few, hopefully we say a couple or a few, 2 or 3 chances, honestly, in a game that's wide open. There's going to be chances for the other team. So even I think even in the biggest games with how we play and with the counter and everything that's involved with it, that, like I said, they're going to get, we could say 1 or 2 chances. But as we get further into Champions League potential games, how, if and how do we start to tighten up a little bit defensively? Is that elsewhere? Is that in the transfer market? Or can we, in our, setup now, is there a way to be more defensive? Yeah, that's another question.
It's an interesting question, because that was actually a question from one of our listeners earlier. It was pretty much a double-barred question. It was, what really is our target? Should be our target for the January transfer window? And it kind of it translates also the other way of looking at it is, what do we need to do to shore up our defence? Which is leaking goals is now. I know we've steadied the ship, and the stats the last while are quite impressive, but we have
to see who we're playing, to be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think the big question too, then this goes off, we can go right to the listener's question, but I think it's like, what is our expectations exactly for Liverpool this season as far as their goal? You think and then, what is our expectations on, who they need to get, to potentially get to that goal, if you follow me.
Yeah, no, it's a very good way of stating it. What we need, I think what Klopp has prioritised for this season is securing Champions League football again next season, so top 4 finish. And I think he really, really, really wants to go on a run in Europe as well. Because
I agree with that.
I think he can see the potential in this team, particularly on one-off games or on 2-legged ties, to do damage. On our day, we can do damage to any given team, and there isn't. If we click on our day, I don't think there's a team in Europe, and I include the elite teams in Europe in that.
I totally agree, because if we click on our day, that could be the tie, essentially. If we get in one of these, I'm not trying to look too far down the line, but if we can progress through Porto, I'm not even looking at that game or that tie yet, but if we progress and then we play one of the Giants, just imagine in the first game we come out, and this is dream scenario, but we could potentially score goals, and that's where, when we get into how this is like best case scenario, obviously we have other variables that we might never see it, type of thing. But I like our chances when it's in a 1-off, 2-off, type of aggregate type scoring, which obviously it is.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's really what Klopp is looking at. And you can question the wisdom of rotating players, and then there's the whole discussion. We're not going to get into it. Looking at the sports science aspect of it in terms of players that are in the red zone, and that led to the team selection then before the derby, and then some people are saying, did he prioritise Moscow over the derby? And in my mind, he absolutely prioritised the Moscow game, because it's Champions League progression that he wanted. Where the issue came into place was the fact that we threw away a 3-goal lead against Sevilla earlier in the season to secure the qualification earlier in the game, and would have made that game a dead rubber then, and we wouldn't have to have played the first choice team. Then we could have rotated in that game, and gone at the derby full throttle. Then look, that's hindsight is great now, and that was probably one of the most disappointing things about that night in Sevilla. But to answer your question, yes, it's definitely Champions League he's prioritising. What we need then in the transfer window is I think we have to get a bloody centre half. I don't think we can go another 6 months on the current setup.
I'm tired of hearing about it. They need to do so. I mean, it's just like this has been correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's been any what other type of pursuit of a player has there been in Liverpool's history in the last 5 years that have been this up and down, back and forth?
Yeah, we've had a couple of stinkers over the years.
This is one of them. And we'll see how
this is taking us to a whole new level.
I just feel like it's just been everything and anything of how a player shouldn't be managed, and it's just wow, is this? And then if it does happen, and then he's not what we think he it just has so many oh my gosh, I just don't even. It's just I'm tired of it. I wish there was some other. I feel like he's the only center half in the world. Sometimes
it seemed like that at summer. All right, given Klopp's refusal and stubbornness not to look at other options or other targets, which is surprisingly, because you look at both Gini and Salah. Gini to a lesser extent as well, but the two that come to mind straight away are Mane and Salah. Both of those players weren't first choice targets. They were down the list, but first choices didn't work out in both situations. And they've turned out to be wonderful signings, and they've turned out a hell of a lot better than our first choice options would have been. But here, when it comes to we'll say his name. Everyone knows we're talking about it. It's Virgil van Dijk. He's top of the list. There's rumors going around today and stuff like that.
If you didn't know who we were talking about, then I don't.
Yeah,
you probably shouldn't even listen anymore.
Just in case. But look, we're going to go back in the market for him in January when it opens up. Will we get him? I don't know. City are sniffing around now as well, and City have that.
I mean, we set ourselves up for if there's somebody else that becomes available. I think we're in a pretty, a good situation. It's, it's similar to my NFL team here, the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a quarterback go down, and they have a backup quarterback that has so many steps into the situation that is wonderful. Who wouldn't want to play defense for the front four of Liverpool? That would be amazing. They're in the Champions League. Yeah. They are in the top of, finishing again for the Champions League if they continue doing well in the Premier League. So I feel like they've set themselves up good. I'm ready. Hopefully something can happen. If it's Van Dijk, great. If it's somebody else, I just feel like they have to do something.
Yeah, look, we need him desperately. We can't go towards the end of the season with the games coming thick and fast. And we spoke about Champions League playing the elite teams. If we're going to go with Klavan and Lovren as our first choice, because if anything happens, then we're absolutely rinsed completely. And particularly with Klein's non-involvement, long-term absentee from the team, Gomez doesn't have the option to play a lot of football at centre half, which is another restriction. So we have to sign a bloody defender in January. That for me is paramount. And even if we get another signing who turns out to be an absolute superstar, the way this saga has unfolded and dragged us down and sucked us in completely and just made a mess of our emotions completely. If we don't sign him now, eventually, if he does end up at City or elsewhere, it's going to be an absolute unmerciful kick in the guts altogether. It's going to be very hard to take.
It totally is. I mean, and that's the thing with the one thing about what the different people on Twitter and on social media, I know that they don't understand why it has to be the way it how it's going as far as we need a center half type sign. They want somebody to sign. I know there's just the kind of average fan that comes to the pubs with us. And, they'll want to know when, as far as they don't understand how the transfer window works and everything like that. But, there has to be other options out there. We need for Lovren, just say for Lovren, he's injured. You know what I mean? His workload, his game management. We just need somebody to play at least we don't have anybody in the ranks, really, it seems like. That's the problem. You named off all our different guys, but they're, outside backs type of thing, with Klein and and the other guys that are injured. So I mean, it's just we need some type of help. Obviously, Van Dijk is the number one, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's frustrating.
It is, and it given the style of football that we play and the way Klopp likes to set his teams up, it's something we've spoke about a number of times in various pods and shows. It's not a normal centre half any centre half in the world that can come in and play in our system. They have to be very good reading the ball. They have to be very good on the ball. They have to be very quick, etc., etc. Like centre halves that can look good in smaller teams with a lot more cover will get absolutely ruthlessly exposed in our setup. But look, to answer the listener's question, we do need a centre half pretty badly, and let's hope to God it's Van Dijk. We eventually get him over the line, and as you said, Randall, it'll be probably one of the most dragged out, and it'll be the biggest unveiling ever. They'll have to hopefully the PR team will go full flow as well. The other issue that I think we need, and I don't see it being addressed in January, I think it's probably summer / a more long term option, is I genuinely believe that we need a new number 6, a new centre defensive midfielder, particularly when we're looking at teams that are of the higher level. When they run at us at pace, we're exposed. It was interesting to note actually at the Bournemouth game just gone by, it was Genie that at times was playing the deepest line on midfielder, and it was Henderson that was pushing forward, and it was probably Henderson's best game recently as well. So the question marks are always: is Henderson a natural number 6? Is Henderson does he have a long-term future at the club? I like Henderson to a certain degree, but I don't think he's going to be at the club for a hell of a lot longer. If we get another 1/2 years out of him, we do well. He's a nice player that has just been ruined by injury, really.
He has, but I mean, you see, he had some. It was here recently, and Twitter were blowing up. That's why I remember it. But yeah, he had like the first half of, I forget exactly what it was. I mean, he's been playing decent here recently. So, we'll see. I think we got to see with Keita when he comes in how he's going to be. I think in a Liverpool jersey, what he that's going to be an interesting dynamic. And I don't know. I have to take a little bit of their scouting to see how Hendo is going to fit in there. But I agree. That's the other spot right in that realm. They haven't replaced. And
it's funny. Like we spoke about Chamberlain quite at length at the start of the pod there, just given about who he's playing at the weekend. But I think I see him developing into probably one of a deeper line midfield option as well. So maybe with Genie as well. That's another option. I
mean, I guess with Chan too. I mean, you see where
who knows
if he leaves,
who knows what's going to happen there.
I mean, it's so in flux. But I mean, they have some here recently. I don't know. I've kind of really been looking at Emery Chan, his game more and more to see if I really are going to be mad he leaves or I'm fine with it or whatnot. But I think he's him over somebody like Henderson. I think Chan's still there. He's still somebody better in that role because they always have they have the ball there and in between the two center halves a lot, and they're controlling the tempo of how that how it's going. So I just don't know who I prefer in there, but I've seen some good things from both of them here recently.
Yeah, cool. And as you said, it's probably a discussion for another day. Before we go to wrap up the pod, because I know you have to shoot on there. It's Christmas time, so we'll have a bit of festive fun just before we finish up. This is actually a question from yourself earlier, so I'll let you run with it, and we'll have a bit of fun with this before we wrap it up.
Yeah, no, we had said what would be 3 gifts, from Santa Claus if you were, as a Liverpool, fan. I think, the first one would be, we're just going to roll right with it. What our conversation was, shore up the back end and go, fight for some good things here in Europe and in the Premier League, but specifically Europe. It'll be, I think, some good times if we can get some signings there at the back end. The second thing would be, I think, potentially, I think my second one is going to be, beating United on the 10th, because I'll be there. But and that's the one thing for the Liverpool fans to enjoy. That's been the big thing here recently in the States. Is there's been a lot of the supporters groups go back and forth on social media. So there's some good fun in that. And then the third thing would be there's been some rumors of a couple different players that could come in, and I just think it would be great to have, because of what's going on with Van Dijk and the at the back end. If it was a total opposite, it was a wow type of signing for Liverpool, which would be great. You never know.
You go with your buddy from Dortmund?
Yeah, exactly. Something I would go crazy for that. But something in the next year, it would be fun. For us to enjoy, and maybe all the things we didn't even get into any of the ticket saga and the ticket issues, things going on over there. But that's the type of things that it's going to need to be validated. If things are going to go up, that's my biggest thing. Absolutely. I think any fan will tell you that if you show it to them, they'll support. So that's the only things that are going to be needed. You're going to need to sign players if there's any increase. So
yeah,
that's my one blurb on tickets.
I was about to say is if I only get 3 wishes, I'm going to go very short term with a couple of them. It's beat Arsenal Friday night, because that'll just make my Christmas. Got into it.
There you go.
I don't even want to think about what it's going to be like if we don't get the win, because I fairly believe we're good enough. I want Van Dijk in January, and I'm heading over for the Leicester and Burnley games, and I want wins in both of those as well. I know that's 4.
Great.
I know that's 4, but I don't care. I'm a greedy bastard. No.
I'll take it. Look, but you heard what I said. So it's great.
Exactly.
I'm excited for the match. Like I said, 4-1. I think it's going to be good. It's all leading up to the holiday season. So everybody, I hope you have a great Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Enjoy. Happy holidays, everybody.
Absolutely. And the same to you and all the Reds worldwide. Hope you have a good one. Eat, drink, loads and loads. Hopefully we'll watch loads and loads and goals on the pitch for our Reds. Let's get just keep this form. Let's smash Arsenal to pieces. Let's go on a big run, and who knows what will happen. Thanks for listening, folks. We'll wrap it up. Thanks to Randall from LSC Philly for joining us. Thanks everybody for listening. And we will talk to you all very soon. Up the Reds!
Up the Reds!